We are getting back into the swing of things today. How are you almost 3 months old? And it's finally completed after 2 years. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. Good morning guys, welcome to today's video. I'm so happy to be back vlogging a normal-ish video. If you hear some baby sounds, little baby River's just over here watching me. We are getting back into the swing of things today and normal routines since after this little guy has been born, Yes. Are you smiling? Are you smiling at me? He is almost 3 months old. He'll be 3 months old in less than a week, I think, a week. So we finally feel like our heads are popping up above the clouds. We're getting back into normal routines. Like I said, we're doing some bread baking today, which I'm showing you guys. We're also going to be baking some tortillas later today for dinner, but I think I'll have Jacob's help for that because I will probably need some assistance with the tortillas. But this is my first time back baking and doing things since I had him, just finally feeling at a good place to know when I have little time slots to do things throughout the day. We have been having help from my sister, both my mom and Jacob's mom too, so we've had lots of help since he's been born, so that has been a major help. I would definitely not be in the place I am without that help. So my sister's been coming pretty much every day, especially with Jacob's crazy work schedule. He's been gone some days, so that's been a big help, but I'm excited to feel slowly back to normal. I mean, he's still eating a good amount of times throughout the day, probably 8 times total, including throughout the night. And then he wakes up at least once, sometimes twice a night to eat. He's still in our room with us. So definitely still very much in that baby newborn stage, but also still kind of feeling like we're coming out of that. So we're at a good little in between right now, but both the boys, the older boys, are taking their nap and quiet time right now. So I'm gonna take this time to do some baking so I don't have any interruptions and I can just get it done quickly. Are you kicking my arm? Are you kicking my arm? Yes. Do you see yourself? He is so alert and aware. It is so crazy. He's already getting so big. At his 2-month appointment, he was almost 14 pounds. So he's a big little guy, aren't ya? But both the older boys have loved him so much. It is so sweet. I feel like they did not have a hard transition with it at all, which has been amazing. And I feel like since they already were used to having one sibling, what was another one at that point? So they love him every morning. They're like, where's baby River? And they hold him and hug him. So it's been really fun to see, just adding another little brother into the family. Jacob's also been a huge help. Obviously, he's been doing like all of the cooking and baking and doing dinners. So this is kind of my first step back into that role a little bit of doing the loaves for the week. But we're gonna do some, like I said, bread, tortillas, and then we're actually gonna need to make some waffle mix that will set overnight, and we'll do those tomorrow morning because the boys are currently out of those. But one thing that I did just recently get was the Oura ring. So if you guys haven't heard of that before, it's a really cool, it's kind of almost like an Apple Watch, but obviously doesn't tell time. So it tracks my cycle, it tracks sleep, stress, your heart rate, a bunch of other stuff. So it like gives you a readiness score for the day based on your sleep and heart rate, your temperature, all those things. And I was expecting my readiness and my sleep score to not be very good since I got it. I think I've had it almost a week now, but almost every day it's been over 80, sometimes 90 for my readiness out of 100. So I guess I'm pretty ready for the day, even though I feel pretty tired most days. But yeah, if you're interested in that and are looking for a different kind of birth control, I'm only 1 week into it, but I'll give you guys an update. I think it says it takes like 2 months to like fully get your cycle going, and I am postpartum, so it might be harder for it to kind of track what's going on, but we will see. I'm excited about it. It's also really nice, like I said, for the stress and sleep and heart rate, tracks your steps, your activity throughout the day. You're just smiling at me. He pretty much never likes to be sat down in the seat, so this is a pretty rare occurrence, huh? You like to be held all the time. But this time of day is always really nice and refreshing to have them in their quiet time. Most of the time they're both up there for a good amount of time, but you know, there's always those off days where one of them doesn't want to take their quiet time. But today we had swim lessons, so I think they are very tired. We also had Cohen's second birthday party over the weekend, which is so wild that he's 2. I keep thinking that River is Cohen because it feels like I just gave birth to Cohen, so it's crazy that it's been 2 years since then. But we did a little Paw Patrol party at the beach because Paw Patrol and the beach are his probably 2 favorite things right now. So we combined them, had a bunch of family, and some of his little friends come, so that was really fun to celebrate him, and he loved everything that had to do with the party. There was watermelon, there was yogurt drinks, all his favorite things, all his favorite people too. So that was really fun. I did get some clips from that, so I'll show you guys those. But yeah, Cohen's officially 2. He's definitely entering into his terrible 2s. He's really not that terrible, but he's definitely in the age where he's like learning, you know, yes and no, and that he can have an opinions and all those fun things. But he's such a cute, goofy boy. He's our little jokester, we call him, because he just loves to make people laugh, and he's such a good, cute little boy. I've also been doing some reading in my free time. So right now I'm reading The Nightingale. Let me go get it really quick to show you guys, by Kristin Hannah. And I'm only 5 chapters in, and it is so good so far. When I ordered it, I did not know it was this thick, but I'm going through it pretty quickly. So really good read so far. And then this was my first one of the year that I actually started in January, but I finally finished after River was born. I was hoping to get it done before he was born, but it's The Sea of Tranquility. Oh no, you missed my face? But it's kind of more sci-fi, more about like time travel and stuff, whereas the Kristin Hannah one is historical fiction. So it's a little bit more interesting to me. So I'm excited to read that one. And then I have another Kristin Hannah one that I'm gonna read after this one, The Woman, I believe it's called. Do you see yourself already? Are you a big boy? How are you almost 3 months old? How are you almost 3 months old? Are you a handsome blue-eyed boy? We've got 3 blue-eyed boys, huh? Okay, right now I have all 3 down for a nap, which never happens. Normally River will only sleep for like 30 minutes at a time, so I try to save, sorry, I'm pouring some water for my recipe, but I try to save the tasks that I really can't do with kids around for when they are all sleeping. So right now, that task is making the tortilla dough. So I'm getting all the ingredients out for that. I still have a loaf in the oven. So baking I can do with them around, but since adding River, it's a little bit harder because I normally have to be wearing him and managing the 2 other boys. So it can be a little bit more challenging to do the baking stuff. So I'd rather just get that done, most of it done for when they're asleep. And then tasks like laundry, vacuuming, most of the actual household cleaning things I can do with all 3 of them awake. So I try to save those for the times that they're awake, and I try to obviously not do too many chores when they're awake so they can play and we can just all spend time together. So I'm gonna quickly make this tortilla dough while River is sleeping, because again, he's kind of on that 30-minute nap stretch. He hasn't taken a 2-hour nap in a few weeks. So he's kind of in that 3 to 4 month transition of nap times being a little rough, but his night sleep is getting better. So I'm gonna quickly stop talking and get this tortilla dough made. Project that I can show you guys that I have finally finished is this coffee table. I just kind of did it in little chunks of time when I had, you know, spare time with 3 kids, which was very minimal, but I finally got it done. It was before a very, very orange stained coffee table. I found it on Facebook Marketplace probably like 2 years ago. I finally got it sanded down and I put new cute gold hardware on it. I feel like these need to be tightened up though, because the boys have kind of loosened them up already, but I just love the pretty scallop on them. And I actually ended up staining it. It was a very long process to get it how I wanted to, but I sanded it down. I bleached it to see if I liked the bleach look, but I didn't end up liking it. So I ended up going with a stain. I just found these stain wipes on Amazon. I think the Instagram girl, her name's Kylie Katish, I believe her name is, but I love following her DIY stuff. She posted these stain wipes that were really easy to use, and I really liked the tone of it. She used it for her dining table, and I thought, what the heck, I'll try it for the coffee table, and I could not love more how it turned out. I was getting very sad in the middle of the process that I wasn't gonna like how it turned out, but I think it looks so pretty and so cute. So, and it's finally completed after 2 years. I'm pretty sure I got it like right after Cohen was born, or before. I think it was before actually. So yeah, very happy with that turned out. The living room's a mess though, because they were playing in here this morning, but I do want to take some official after pictures for it for Instagram, because I'm just so proud of how it turned out. I think it looks so cute in this space. And I'm so glad that the orange tones came out, but it still has that wood antique kind of color to it. This hutch is next on my list whenever I have time. It'll probably take me another 2 years to finish, but I started kind of scraping it off just to see what color it would be. And I'm definitely gonna have to sand it down after I scrape off all the paint, but I think when I'm all done, it's gonna be really pretty too. So stay tuned for when that's done, hopefully in not 2 years. But I did find some more thrifting pieces that I would show you guys really quickly while the boys are sleeping. But we did do a quick trip to Idaho, so I got to stop by my favorite antique shops, and I loved this little, is it a cross stitch? It's a different word. I don't think it's cross stitch, but it's this really pretty little barn farmhouse scene with a gold frame that I thought was really pretty. I've been wanting one of those. So I got that. I also got, it's up here, Jacob needs to fix it, but I got that antique clock that I think I'm gonna put right there. Jacob just needs to reprogram it for me so that it works. But it's like an old schoolhouse clock that I thought was so different. So I'm gonna put that up there. I'm trying to think what my other finds were. I think I found a little fall tea light, but that's upstairs. And then I did find this little, is it a sconce? I think is what it's called. So I just need to get a little candle to put in there, but I loved the little black sconce is, I think, the word for it, but correct me if I'm wrong. And then I think I'm forgetting something else that I thrifted. I cannot remember. Oh, a quilt. That is what it was. It's over here. I found the most beautiful quilt, and every time I find them on Facebook Marketplace, they're like hundreds of dollars. So when I saw that this one was $35, I snagged it up because I thought, even if I don't like it as a blanket, you can turn quilts into like oven mitts or fun things. So this is the kind of color palette of the quilt. I already have washed it and everything. I did like a deep wash in the bathtub, but it has scalloped edges. It's a little bit girly with the florals, but I love the blue, so it's kind of a neutral color. I figured we could either use it as a beach blanket or for bedspread or just a blanket downstairs, but for $35, I was like, that is a steal, and I loved the colors. It's got little pinks in there, but mostly blues, and I loved the scalloped edge detail, so I had to get that. And I think that was all my thrift finds on our trip to Idaho. But my grandma, I asked her about a quilt that I saw in her closet when we were staying at her house, and I asked her if I could take it because she's moving. And this is the quilt, so she did end up letting me take it, which was so sweet of her. I remember growing up with this quilt and using it at her house growing up, and I'm very into the blue and white themes lately, so I just thought it would look so pretty hanging over the edge of the couch, and when I saw it, that's immediately I knew where I wanted to put it. So I think that's all the thrifting pieces that I found, and for now, I never know what to do when all three of them are sleeping, and I feel like I need a list on my phone of like things that I can do that I want to get done that are hard to do with them around, because most of the time I have at least one little one tagging along with me to all the adventures that I'm doing around the house. But it's like, I always feel jittery when all three of them are down because I'm like, do I do this? Do I do that? What do I do with my time? And then by the time I find something to do, they're awake. So I'm sure a lot of you moms with multiples can relate to that because the alone time is very rare. Does not come often. So I definitely have to stay down here to finish the loaves. So I'll probably either read my book or scroll on Instagram, or I've been really trying to finish Cohen's baby book because I have not finished his baby book, and by the time I get his done, I'll have to do Rivers. So yeah, the list of mom tasks are never ending. So maybe I'll work on Cohen's baby book for a little bit before the big ones need to wake up in 20 minutes. So I'll see you then after my hopefully 20 minutes of alone time. Thank you. We've got all our groceries for the next few days. I probably do 2 Instacarts a week. Just with basics like eggs, some meat, some veggies. So we're gonna put them all away. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Oh.
We've got some asparagus. Let's see, we've got some zucchini. What would you like? A yogurt? Bananas. Potatoes. Muffins. Eggs. Some cheese. And some blueberries. And that is it.
Oh.
Oh, does that sound good? So now we are done with nap time. I finished the tortillas. Trying to bounce this little guy to sleep. We have this tent out here that's completely ripped, so sorry if that's loud, blowing in the wind. But we're normally out here in the afternoons because it's the least hot. Kenai is, you got it, pull it harder. Kenai likes to put water in the little patch of dirt that we have. Well, it's a big patch of dirt to make some mud to play in. So that's what he's doing. Been trying to get River to take a nap for a little bit, but this last nap of the day is getting harder and harder for him to take. So, but we are just hanging out outside. There haven't been many afternoons where I have been by myself with the boys, which has been really nice to have help. So thankfully they have been good this afternoon. I gave them a show while I fed River, and have been trying to save their TV time for times where I am by myself, to give myself a little break, and for especially when I'm feeding River too, because I have to be sitting down to do that. So it keeps them distracted for a bit. But Kenai is just gonna make some mud. They're gonna play in the backyard for a little bit until Jacob's done working. We're gonna make the tortillas, and I'll show you guys the garden really quick if this little one cooperates. So this is the tomato plants. We planted them way too close together because we didn't think they would actually all grow so big, but they're doing really well. We put these little trellises in so that they can grow up a little better, but there's pretty much red ones every single day that the boys love to come out and pick. So you can see a few in the cracks in there, but the zucchini over here is doing amazing. I don't remember the last official garden update I gave you guys, but these ones all started as seeds. This one over here was a transplant. This owl is to keep the birds away because we've been having some birds eating the leaves and stuff. But the biggest zucchini we have in here right now is that one right there, if you can see it. So it's getting big. And the plants are all doing really well with the system we've been using. This one over here is bell peppers, but I don't think it's doing very well. So I don't know if we're not watering it enough or what, but the zucchinis so far have been loving the atmosphere so far. So we've got this big tomato plant, that there's one big tomato right there. But other than that, these are all cherry tomatoes. So lots of tomatoes for salads and things. And then we do actually have 2 other garden beds that we can build. So I do want to build those soon. I tried to do pumpkins on the side of the house, not in the garden beds, but those were not working out. Okay, Kenai, time to turn off the water. Yes, Mommy, that's enough mud. It's a swamp down there.